what happened to Vox Machina after the end of their adventures?
I'm explaining to you because you look nervous.
Before we check in on our favorite band of misfit heroes, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an update. Also, be warned that this video contains potential spoilers about Critical Role, in particular Campaigns 1 and 3. While Critical Role's first campaign ended years ago, Vox Machina remains a major part of the franchise, thanks both to the hit Prime Video series The Legend of Vox Machina, Season 2 coming sometime next year, and also the occasional one-shot featuring the cast reprising their roles as the world-changing band of heroes.
Glee! I'm back, baby!
It seems that Vox Machina could be making a comeback in the current campaign, as both Keyleth and the city of Whitestone have played some roles in the plot thus far. So, we figured it would be a good time to catch up with Vox Machina and see what they've been up to since the end of the first campaign. Now, most of this information comes from the tal'dorei campaign setting Reborn book, which is set a few years before Campaign 3. That means it's possible that some things may have changed between the events of tal'dorei Reborn, which is a campaign setting book for players to use to make their own Critical Role campaigns, and the events of the current Bell's Hells campaign. Keyleth, as mentioned in the events of Campaign 3, is the leader of the Air Ashari, and she's kept herself busy, in part to fill the void left by Vax's death. Now, she does keep a home in Whitestone to stay close to her friends, but she also stays busy by leading the Air Ashari, training their heroes, and completing several major public works, such as the expansion of a crisis orb network, which allows for better communication throughout tal'dorei in case of, a betrayer god coming to the material plane, or, a group of dragons deciding to devastate the world or something.
Admit it, Morty. Dragons suck.
She's also built a series of new windmills on the summit peaks near the Air Ashari's home, and those were actually constructed with the help of Percy. Both Percy and Vex have become major leaders in tal'dorei, with Percy acting as one of the leaders of Whitestone, and Vex serving as the Master of Commerce of the tal'dorei Council. That, of course, is the least surprising thing ever. They also have 5 children, one of which is a tiefling, likely due to Percy's dealings with demons and devils and that stuff during the events of Campaign 1. Trinket is also still alive with a cub of his own. Now, we got a lot of questions in a past video about whether or not Percy is still alive, and yes, Percy should still be alive in Campaign 3. Percy's only in his mid to late 50s. Pike and Scanlan got married, and they also had some kids. But when those 2 children eventually went to school, Pike and Scanlan decided to get a divorce. They do remain close friends, however. Pike moved to Whitestone to build a temple to the Everlight, and also to remain close to her friends. Meanwhile, Scanlan splits his time running Meatman's imports and sexports with his daughter Kaylee, traveling to Whitestone to visit his friends, and traveling the world to do whatever it is that Scanlan does.
But the brothels have taught me one thing. Size doesn't matter.
Grog learned how to read and write. He also organizes this Luncheon of Champions, where the greatest warriors throughout Exandria meet once every 4 years for an all-out melee, followed by a nice lunch and some beer. Vax is, he's still dead. He serves as the champion of ravens for the Raven Queen, and he acts as both wrathful angel and soothing guide to the afterlife, depending on what need arises. Tyrion, of course, is a best-selling writer. We've known that, and that came up in Campaign 2. He has retired from the Darrington Brigade to become a full-time writer. He moved to Port Denali with his husband Lawrence, and has transitioned from a non-fiction writer to a fiction writer. He, too, also occasionally visits Whitestone to see his friends. So, it seems that most of Vox Machina, the ones that are alive, could all be in Whitestone, which conveniently seems to be where Bell's Hells seems destined to visit. Are you excited for a potential Vox Machina reunion? Let us know in the comments section.